Alright, Jessi, get the fuck out of bed. There you are. Ready to play some Stardew here?
More than ready.
More than ready? Good.
God, this looks like shit.
Well, some of the land is decaying around these plants, but our plants remain intact, so we're doing fine here. Get these tomatoes watered. What are we on here? This seems like episode 12, 13. I can't even keep track anymore.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. This game goes forever. Like, you literally can have a farm that's thousands of years old. And the people in the town won't age. It's a crazy world.
Shane will just remain hot and angsty for all eternity.
Yes. However, once his angst is resolved and his addiction is cured, you might find him to be a little bit more of a straightforward character.
You say that, but ever since we started doing this, I've been getting pushed Stardew Valley content.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw somebody say, you can't fix Shane.
Oh.
I beg to differ.
Okay, I didn't know that. I was under the impression that you can fix him because in past playthroughs, he becomes like essentially a farmhand and he does free labor for you, which is really awesome.
We'll find out.
I just don't know whether he's going to do that.
Once I get my grip on him.
Yeah, well, you get that grip, but I have an aching suspicion that if he becomes your spouse, that he just won't do anything. He'll just be like, I just sit here and just eat. Like he'll
So he
say,
won't do farm duties if...
Yeah, I have a bad feeling it works that way. So that's
I
flawed.
think you're probably just bullshitting.
No.
But...
Right. You think I see him as a rival? For sure. I suppose there is a little bit of that, but remember, like, I'm already courting someone else anyway, so if it doesn't work out, it's okay. We're really gonna clear this?
God damn, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's gonna, like, I already am dying, so I don't know if I should waste this energy.
Oh, you still have some meter left, and there's plenty of food for us to eat.
Like, I have sap in my backpack.
Wait, okay. Sap we can use to make fertilizer with?
Slime and sap is all I have.
Yeah, I don't think neither of those are edible.
Go...
You can stash some of that in the communal chest. Plus, we can make more chests. We're gonna need more chests.
Should I eat it like a raw herring?
I don't know about raw fish, but any of the plant stuff, the foraging plants would be good to eat. I thought we still had a plethora of spring onions if you want to nibble on a few of those.
I'm good on that.
Well, shall we
eat whatever this is?
That is a spice berry. Eat that. Oh, let me stash some of the junk that I'm carrying, and then maybe we can go do a little foraging, yeah?
Okay.
I'll sell the slime too. And even this wood. Just trying to make room, but it's not like we're going to run out of room with that giant backpack that we have.
You and the fucking backpacks.
I am dead set that was the right route for us. You will see, and I will be redeemed on that. Why don't you pick these mushrooms with me? There's a blue mushroom over here. That could be a fancy one. You want that? Who the hell knows what that even is?
Purple.
Purple mushroom.
Correction.
Okay. See, this is my color blindness is coming out a little bit.
Your dark secret.
I know.
Speaking of dark secrets.
Yeah.
I was like, recently, going over some of the Phil Collins and Genesis catalog and crying as I PMS'd, and I couldn't help but notice some disturbing trends within the lyrics that reminded me of a theory I've long held that allegedly, according to just my opinion only, and not based in fact for entertainment purposes only, that Phil Collins may have possibly in some alternate universe or this one accidentally killed somebody and has been haunted by it his entire life.
It would make sense what you're saying from a lyrical standpoint. I'm going to go ahead and agree that there's something there. I think there was a specific song that comes up with that in the We Can't Dance album. Why am I losing the name of it right now? Dreaming While You Sleep. And it is lyrically
very explicitly
yes, and
about a hit and run accident.
Right.
Which, if something like that were to have possibly occurred, I could potentially see it looking something like that.
Yeah, I believe you're onto something, because there has to be some specific reason for what we call sad fill, right? You know, like, I would say that doesn't just, the depth of that sadness can't just come from writing lyrics to sell music. You know, there's something more going on there.
Well, when you Google Phil Collins, like, one of the first suggestions is like, what happened to Phil Collins? Like, what tragedy befell Phil Collins? Like, and I am not, like, versed enough in, like, Phil Collins lore,
right,
to be 100% sure. But think about, like, In the Air Tonight, everybody wonders what was going on there.
Yes, that's a prime example, but it's also just a feeling just throughout lyrically. And when you go back to even some of the early Genesis, there's a kind of a whimsical nature to some of those lyrics from some of the you know, from like some of the And Then There Were Three era to Trick of the Tail, and that kind of just post Peter Gabriel time that seems to support these arguments as like as a permanent thing, a permanent fixture in the songwriting of this band. So there's enough of a sample size and enough evidence out there to really support what you're saying. And the question is,
support might be a bit strong of a word, but
true.
My gut tells me that something happened.
Yes. And
what? I don't know, and it's my opinion only.
Correct.
We would never want to slander his good name.
No, this is all just allegedly and possibly kind of speculation over here. Pure speculation, because I, of course, you know, revere a lot of that music from my youth and going on, even to my adult life. So I would really hate to sit here and bash any of that. I think we've caught enough fish.
Are we done?
I think we're done. Yeah, we just came down here mostly to look for forage. But in that song that we referenced before, in Dreaming While We Sleep, it seems as if there's the song seems to lyrically be about literally a hit and run style accident.
Really, literally.
Literally, yeah. There's no room to even interpret it any other way. If you read it, you could Google it right now, anyone who's listening to it, and you'll see that something happened there. And I believe when I had last looked this up, the theory was that it was just random. That's just they're just writing songs.
Randomly write.
Well, I mean, that was sort of a Beatles defense for some of their other stuff, right? You know, when you get to like some of the more bizarre things in Magical Mystery Tour or Sgt. Pepper's, they use the same kind of defense. And that might just be like a lyric thing that people are doing. And a lot of times people make a lot of comparisons between Genesis and the Beatles as a thing. So they could just be going in that style. That would be, of course, the safe answer. But I'm with you. I honestly think that something happened, and possibly someone was ran over, and it would help explain the depth of the Phil's soul in some of this music. And you know, it
feels like he's been carrying some kind of super heavy burden that's gone unexplained,
and is sharing that with the listener. at a high level, and there's something I think we can all identify, or not everyone. Maybe there's lots of NPCs out there who can't understand it, but Sad Phil hits certain notes at such a high level that it just there's no way that there wasn't some kind of spiritual investment in this. I can't go with that we're just writing songs for fun here. Otherwise, it wouldn't have touched me in such a big way in my 1987 Somerset blasting that tape throughout my youth, including to other kids who were like, "What the heck is this? It sounds like something my parents would listen to." And it's like, "You shut up now," like. So, did he like that fish?
He just was kind of like tepid.
Oh, I'm gonna give him a mushroom. Great gift. He did like the mushroom. Okay. Now there
but
was
yeah, if such a thing had occurred, I would give Phil a pass.
Right.
I don't think that it would have been intentional at all on his part, unlike some other rock lore.
Right. That brings us to another thing. You had mentioned to me before that Phil, one of the songs on that same album was written for Eric Clapton's child's death as the child fell out of the window. And I feel like that's where you were potentially going with some of this.
Clapton shoved that kid out the window. I don't care what anyone thinks or says.
Ooh. Bold statement. We're just going to bed early. We might as well. After you said that, we all got to sleep on that. Oh,
that was no accident. There's something really off with Eric Clapton. His Crossroads, like Deal with the Devil, was that how he paid the piper?
Okay. Well,
it just doesn't add up.
Yeah. Paying the piper in this regard makes sense because, as we know, sometimes in order to prove your loyalty,
that makes total sense.
It does. Your arguments have always convinced me over the years that we knew each other better, and it's no different now. There is something to be said for paying the piper in this regard means that, like, in order to have a great career, now this is going to sound very conspiratorial, and I'm sorry to anybody who hears this and thinks I'm crazy, but in order to, be allowed to be a star, some people with big money have to, like, own you in such a way, right? So if there is something horrible that happened in your life and only they know, then they have leverage over you forever. And I'm not saying this happened to poor Eric Clapton. I mean, this guy could be just the...
Well, let's not call him poor. He's like dark-sided. And you know what?
Okay.
That song, Tears in Heaven, wasn't that like his biggest hit of his career?
It was absolutely.
Maybe the Babyface collab that came after the child, quote, fell out that window may have been a bigger hit, but...
True.
It's like he leveled up quite a lot after that incident. He just so happened to be in the city when that occurred.
Right. That's the other side that is a little bit fishy. Because he normally wouldn't have been there.
Mm-mm.
And we have a...
Are these watered?
They're not watered. I'm just picking the tomatoes right now. We're just going to sell these. There's certain circumstances around the child's death that are strange. It's definitely a major tragedy if it happened exactly the way that they said. It's a tragedy regardless whenever anybody dies. Yeah, of course. But there's something... what I mean by in terms of the tragedy is that it's like there's something almost like bizarrely, anti-miraculous that the child was able to fall out that window in that way. Because you always think of windows being a little bit further from the ground, which
especially in a New York City skyrise where there's like strict codes and like I forget the exact explanation, but there was some kind of excuse as to why the window was even able to be open enough for this kid to just run out the window.
Run out the window is the that verb. It doesn't make sense. Like I can only see it as climb, and that like lots of people who are watching that with their child around might have noticed it or something like that. Maybe if you're a big rock star and a big musician, you know, you're not paying attention to your surroundings in the same way because you're like on the phone with your agent or, you know,
Clapton
plotting.
supposedly wasn't at the residence at the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
He was just in the vicinity, you know?
Gotcha.
It was the mom, and I think, just blamed it on the maid. Like, the maid opened the window or something to clean it. Like, okay.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Other than I'm gonna go ahead and
I
agree
don't
with
think
you
the
that
mom
something.
had anything to do with it, by the way. I think if there was any foul play allegedly involved in this incident,
Mhm.
it was all Clapton.
Okay. Well, all we have to look at is the way that the career kind of took off, which is, of course, what we call circumstantial evidence and what have you.
Well,
But
think about, like, his whole, like, album, The Crossroads, which is, like, a blatant reference to, like, meeting Satan at the crossroads or whatever. That's like code for, like, I sold my soul. And like,
oh,
Bob Dylan has, like, similar themes, and he, like, came out and said, well, why do you think my career is like this is? Like, I, like, owe it to the master or whatever. Like, he's just blatantly like, yeah, I sold my soul.
okay. Well, there's a literal
Mm.
way to take that, and then there's a figurative way, which is, of course, surrendering creative control to the producers and other things in order to potentially sell albums at a higher
That
level.
wasn't the vibe I got from Dylan.
It doesn't seem like something he would have had to do when he already had a cult following. So
I
why?
mean, when he was discussing it, it just seemed a little more ominous than, like, yeah, I just let the execs, like, make the call on what I'm putting out.
Yeah.
So that's not like, that's like, duh. Who gives a shit about that? We're talking something a little more
Right.
esoteric than that.
Well, and I agree with you on that. I'm just, I like to just be the voice of reason and tap the brakes a little bit by saying that it could easily just be that's how one, surrenders their creative control is like signing a deal with the devil, because you have a bunch of people who are not musicians who are then capitalizing off you forever. But it's like they're also an essential part of that machine. I mean, how else does your music get distributed, marketed? Who's gonna send you to the various gigs? It's all there's always a big machine behind all of these things. So, hi. Person a few words. Are we going in there to check on the family?
Yeah. Oh, it's just this dumb kid. I don't like this. Okay, the bedroom's door is locked anyway. I'm out.
We're not allowed in there yet, but if we make better friends with them, we'll be able to go in there and meet the band. Because Sebastian was there. But yeah, that is.
Wait, who did you just say in some band you like was, like, arrested for murder? This happens all the time.
Yeah.
He just got caught.
Yeah, I believe that was about 7 or 8 episodes ago. I mentioned that the original saxophonist for the band, Mr. Bungle, was recently arrested for murder. I don't believe he's been in that band for quite some time. I think they kicked him out somewhere after the self-titled album. I mean, it's already been exposed on this channel a few times that I was a big Patton fan, so I followed some of his early career stuff. But yeah, that guy, I don't know the specifics of what has happened, but I know that they have arrested him.
What the hell is this woman just standing there?
She is a gardener on this, so...
Okay. I almost axed her by accident.
That's all right. You've done that a lot.
I almost Claptoned her.
Ouch. That's your verb? Oh my god, Jessi. You are in rare form today. I love it.
But I think I told you also about, like, some blind item that was allegedly, people were theorizing could have potentially been about Sting.
Oh,
That
right.
like his wife will never leave, or he'll never leave his wife because she knows where the bodies are buried.
Right.
And like your immediate theory was that he was like killing people to fertilize his like vegan garden lifestyle or whatever.
Yeah. Well, as we all know, tomatoes grow really well out of human corpses. So
Hmm.
it would make sense from that standpoint if Sting were to allegedly be interested in, getting the, killing people,
Thrill killing.
thrill killing, he would have an easy place to bury the bodies. And if the wife would know, uh then yeah, he can't leave her, and that's fine because I always thought they were very close. Have they broke up? I don't know. I mean,
I don't think so.
no. There's Sting's love life was a subject of discussion back in the '90s for a while there because they were he was one of the first to be kind of open or at least expressive about being in an open relationship and certain things. I think that's true. Good thing that you're fishing in there, because when you see those bubbles, that's how you pull up like sea
Shit,
creatures.
there's no way.
You got to get it. Make sure you get it. You're gonna pull out like a crab or something like that. But either way, yeah, that when I heard you mention that about him, of course, there I have two readings. One is that anybody can say that, because that knowing where the bodies are buried is just a common cliche statement about like you have too much dirt on somebody, so you guys are stuck together forever. But
No, I think it's very literal with Sting.
yeah.
What's his government name? Like Gordon or
Gordon,
something?
I forgot his last name, but I know his first name is Gordon, which is great. I always, there's there was like a stand-up comics, some stand-up comic had a shtick about that, about like, oh, are you have to call me Sting now, and like people like, come on, Gordy, like it's like you can kind of picture that first conversation to get that across.
It's the same as like whatever from U2, who also fucking sucks. The Edge. Like the fuck?
Yeah.
You're gonna call me the Edge now.
I forgot that guy's
am.
name was that. Oh my god, it's so. I don't want to sit here and bash you too, because it's like supposed to be one of the most popular bands of all time.
Long.
Yeah,
Fuck U2.
it just never really worked for me, and I feel bad to all the fans out there. And I know Bono's out there, trying to keep it real for all the people. And
Sebastian,
what
he
he say?
said, "I hope we're not having mushroom casserole tonight," and I immediately gave him a mushroom, and he just responded with a question mark and ran.
You have yet to been able to figure out exactly what he likes.
I was just fucking with him a little bit, but
yeah. I am glad that you brought some of this up in today's episode, because this has been something that's been on the tip of our tongues for a while, in the sense that you're unorthodox.
Sting
Not
killed
just Sting
somebody
killing.
and Clapton pushed that kid out the window.
No, but
I've been dying to say it.
Well, right, not just specifically those, but you don't accept the prevailing wisdom about what the stories that are out there. You're always looking deeper into what is really happening behind the scenes on some of these people that are have weaseled their way into our lives. I don't. It's too early to go to bed.
What are we gonna do?
You want to just chop? You want to chop wood with me out here?
Do we
some
even
hardcore
have wood anymore?
Well,
I feel like
we might. I think we do.
Where is the cat?
The cat was in my bed the last I saw him.
Like the whole time.
Well, you can come to bed with me, and then you can find the cat in there, okay?
Okay, wow.
What? It's in my house, is what I'm saying. And now we learned that you can sleep in any bed, so...
But yeah, like, I guess another thing that I'm just desperate to put out there is, like, They should give that one surviving member of Milli Vanilli that fucking Grammy back.
Oh, I agree with that.
They earned it.
Yeah, that whole thing is just such a tragedy, especially when you are dealing with the story of that guy's suicide over this, and especially when we're talking about something as innocuous as lip syncing, like as if that's some sort of grand tragedy, especially with a pop band.
Well, do you know that like it wasn't just the lip syncing? It was like they didn't like actually voice.
Okay, I didn't know that was part of it too.
Yeah,
they're saying that those guys
like
didn't
some,
sing
like,
it.
Hot German guys or something with like thick European accent.
But they had the right look.
Yeah, but they had the look and could dance or whatever. They wanted to sing it, but they were just like, no, you guys, like, you have the look, but you suck. So we're gonna have these like seasoned studio musicians like voice this album for you.
Wow.
And like they didn't want to, like, they were uncomfortable with that, but like obviously they went along with it. And I don't know that they even had a choice, because I think they signed a contract by then, and they got busted lip syncing due to some like system error, like a technical error.
That's what it was.
And it's like, first of all, why wouldn't they just go like, yeah, like Fab was really sick, we would have either had to cancel on you guys or lip sync. So we opted to lip sync for, just due to like health reasons.
Right. Well, that would make sense, because if he was indeed sick, I don't know.
He wasn't, but that's like what I would say.
That's one of those things that you could just use as an excuse.
Because they didn't fucking like have anything to do with the recording of the music. Well, but that puts like nobody would have even heard it were it not for their image. So it's like they've certainly played a role in the popularity.
And for all those reasons, it's like, why would they? So did they have to surrender a Grammy? They like won it and then had to
they
like
won
say,
it, and then that came out. It was like a humiliation ritual.
Oh my
basically.
God.
They
That's
had
awful.
to return that Grammy after they got busted lip syncing.
I hope they just had to return it like informally, like hand it over. I hope they didn't do like another ceremony and then have them bring it to the stage. Imagine that.
Like a ritual.
Yeah.
But still, it was rescinded. And everyone knew it. So it was still pretty bad.
Oh. Well, did they ever, did the surviving member ever, come back and try to do anything with that?
They tried.
They did?
To do an album, with their own voices.
Oh, that's awesome.
I hate to laugh, but, it didn't go that great. And then one of them, I can never remember which one, unfortunately, unalived themselves.
Yeah.
Due to all of that. And it's like, come on.
That's the great tragedy, that everybody remembers that that basically it went so poorly for them that one of them died over it, and
it's like, why? Look at the song, Blame It on the Rain, that caused all this drama.
It's easy for us to say that here, but with someone's entire career and livelihood tied up into that, and then you see the other pop musicians from their generation going on to make infinite money and do all these things, I could see it being enough to put it over. I mean, maybe that's rough to say, because the true answer to all the kids listening is that suicide is never the answer. But I don't know.
I mean, MC Hammer forged on.
Right.
He made that mansion with gold toilets, and then lost all of his money.
Yeah. I do know something about, maybe this is wrong, but I remember hearing about the gold. Oh, look, you fucking did it again.
The scarecrow
you
again.
Did it again.
I swear I didn't even mean to. This time.
Oh my goodness. Now I got to make another short about that. No. Everybody knows about the gold-plated pool for MC Hammer.
Okay, it was a pool.
It was a pool, but as I understand it, the gold didn't react well with the chlorine from the pool or something like
what
that.
happened? It like went green or something.
Yeah, it would. It's something like that, and it or either that or the gold plate like decayed and turned into basically just
God, how
got
do I
into the
pet
pool.
the cat
Press
without
X.
axing it?
You press X. That's
Okay.
like don't press square.
All right.
Are there any mushrooms up? I bet you they have grown again. So, okay, but
Take that one.
you know,
But yeah, he plodded on. He lost it all. Vanilla Ice. What's Right Said Fred doing these days? Like, think about all of the contemporaries of the time to Milli Vanilli. A lot of them just...
You're right. Why despair when you look at like the Hammer? If anybody should despair, it's the Hammer at some point, right?
I think he did for a while, but like, didn't he become like a preacher or something and like,
as I understand it,
repent against his like excessive ways?
Correct. There were heavy Christian themes in some of those other. I mean, think about his follow-up album to this big one, which was Pray.
Yeah.
And I am under the impression that Pray didn't do as well. People weren't quite into like
why.
that. You have to pray every day. Was the big single, and I don't think it landed the same as Too Legit to Quit. But I don't know. I guess I was around and a child when he was at the top of his game. And I remember that music video where like James Brown comes out and basically kind of passes the torch to him. It was supposed to be an entire generational thing instead of
Brown passed the torch to MC Hammer.
Yeah, which makes no sense, right? But if you watch the music video at the very beginning, James Brown kind of in that kind of drug-addled late Brown state. I don't know if you've seen the like. We'll have to watch that one of these days of the James Brown interview from E-Bomb's World. You can kind of see the kind of decay that was in it. And now I feel like I'm speaking ill of the dead here, but, obviously a great musician and provided a lot for everybody. But at the beginning of that song, he's like, comes down in like a weird elevator and is like, it's your time now. Like this whole thing to basically say that like that MC Hammer was going to be around for a long time and be just the boss of all this music.
Madonna kiss,
Yes.
She was like passing the torch,
Yes.
and like Christina Aguilera was there, but nobody gives a shit or remembers that because
right. Exactly. It's okay. So you're familiar with this phenomena, and it's happened many times, and it I think that they like to jump the gun on that and be like, this is the next thing. And then like a year or two goes by and you make the Pray album, and now it's like everybody remembers James Brown, and like MC Hammer's now more of like a figure of fun. Until he came back with like a reality show. I know there was a reality show that went in there, which is maybe that's just part of the death knell.
Hammer? He wasn't on the Surreal Life.
No.
Was he?
He had its own reality show. We're gonna have to look that up or like link in the description or something like that.
Don't talk about Surreal Life because that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, we will save Surreal Life. At least season 1 Surreal Life for another.
I'm gonna give this ginger this mushroom. He's not a huge fan. God, I just strike out constantly with these people.
Well, you're not. Remember, we've talked about this. When we're gaming, we don't have like a guide open or some other like wiki that's telling us exactly what to give to everybody. So we just sort of have to muddle through, and through process elimination. Look at that. That guy's mysterious. We could have assumed that he liked mushrooms. So don't feel bad. But yeah, there was a litany of hot takes that you've had about these musicians, and like Milli Vanilli was just the tip of the iceberg with that.
Well,
and
we'll have to get in like the Brian May thing will be a whole episode. That's all I have to say on that right now.
Yeah, we will need you to properly blow the lid off of the Brian May situation.
And Paul McCartney being replaced, 100%. That's not the original Paul McCartney.
Well, we know Paul is dead. I mean, it's been said in in the.
I mean, he's been masquerading as Paul McCartney like twice as long as the original one was alive by now, but
True.
doesn't really make him the real thing, does it?
No, no, not when we already know the truth. When it's been in albums in the '60s explaining that. So yeah, but that will have to be its own thing because we're definitely this is kind of a teaser episode on some of that because we have to understand a little bit about
Stay tuned.
yeah, we got to understand about whether or not we're dealing with doppelgangers here or whether or not we're just using AI tricks to generate new people.
Brittany, I believe like whatever something fucked up's going on with her, and I think that's more filters, AI. Now like. The Paul replacement, that was like a concerted effort to find a specific man to just completely replace him.
Okay. Right. And that's like a science fiction trope and it's also been in lots of other fiction where that's occurred. Face Off.
Is another Face Off.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that like 15 times.
Oh, you and I watch so much Face Off, and it's something appeared in my feed recently that said that they were making Face Off 2. So
no.
Yeah, that's
with like Cage and Travolta.
You would need both of them if you're going to do it. Don't just reimagine it with different actors. It should be Castor Troy and Sean Archer should be back,
Like old, like senior citizen Castor Troy.
There's so many great ways to do it. It's basically like something happens after the end credit and everybody's face is returned back to the wrong face instead of getting it back to the right face. So they've spent the last 20 years as the wrong person. That would need them to retcon that ending. That stupid ending.
Dude, Castor Troy is like the most insane villain.
It's so over the top.
So ridiculous.
As soon as they introduce him as in the priest outfit and he's like grabbing the butt of that character of the other woman in that is like just using that as his cold open was
the craziest thing is it also just feels like Nicolas Cage not even acting.
True.
But it's still like the most unhinged over the top villain like of the 90s maybe. I won't go of all time, but
yeah, I mean I would say he is the most unhinged over the top but we've already brought up some other villains, some stuff from the Costner verse, of course, can kind of do that. Maybe that was just sort of how things were written at the time.
Well, I was like watching a movie with my brother for like a few minutes yesterday. He put it on and it was like some new Mel Gibson movie on Netflix. I don't even know what it was called. And he was like a radio host and some insane like villainous person called in and was like, I'm at your house and like your wife's like at gunpoint or whatever and I killed your dogs. And I'm like, but that villain, literally I like said this is like in the style of Castor Troy from Face Off, like just yesterday. It was insane.
Well,
the movie seemed horrible, but
sometimes I do believe it's sort of a bad writing kind of situation to have villains just evil for evil's sake. It's like I just like sadism.
Which is what the writing was awful, and what was so crazy. It was just I like sadism for no reason, and like it was all taking place where the Mel Gibson character is like in the studio, like broadcasting this radio show, and like the guy's calling in, and I'm like, the writing on this film is not good enough for this device. I'm sorry.
Well, I believe that Mel has been sort of excommunicated from standard Hollywood like currents that allowed him to be in like other movies. So I think that he has to bankroll and work with his own people to make his own stuff. Probably since the anti-Semitic tirade that he was captured on. I know that rubbed some people the wrong way.
Especially in Hollywood.
Yeah, there were a lot of people from that religion that were very offended, as well as just anybody. I mean,
he did other vile things too. Like, I don't know if you heard all of the weird, like, I don't know if it was like recorded phone calls or unhinged like answering machine messages to his ex-wife.
Oh, really? Kind of like the Alec
Yeah.
Baldwin voicemail?
It was like the Alec Baldwin calling his little girl a pig or
Yeah.
something. It was
Yeah.
like worse than that.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to find this for me, Jesse. We'll have to watch this at some point because I'm counting on you
He
to like.
all I remember was he was like slurring and like yelling and like freaking out about like wanting her to give him a blowjob in the hot tub or something.
Oh no!
Like that's all I remember. But
Okay.
yeah, it was crazy.
That sounds like a possible
We gotta
drunk
go.
dial. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Go. Let's head to bed so we can get proper rest here. Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't expect us to go to like deranged Mel, but it's
No, that's
that you know you never know where these episodes are going to turn. You know when you and I are free associating on here. I guess he's always burned into everybody's memory. Not that like Braveheart is like this tremendous movie, and it's like it's obviously
it is. I feel like it was a huge deal, but maybe that's just like a product of our age. Like
yeah.
every guy that I was ever friends with thought Braveheart was like amazing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I would have been one of them. You know, I definitely owned it back in the day, and I probably told you multiple times that I enjoyed that movie. But it was, we have just enough time to go to bed. What do you think, Jesse? One more day?
Sure.
Okay. Our episode's at 40 minutes, so
Let's call it.
You want to call it? You're done?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Then I think we did all right. And what was good here is that we've teased out some more topics that hopefully the viewers will be interested in. We'll kind of come back and talk about some more of this stuff here. Like I was trying to tell everybody, talking about you third person as if you're not here, that Jesse, you just have some really great takes. Well, I'll switch to second person on these things. We didn't get to cover all of it, but I know that you'll be able to kind of get some people to think about things in a way that they hadn't thought about it before and really question some of the things that we've just taken as axioms about some of these musicians. And in order to really understand the artist, we must go a little deeper, right? So I do appreciate this, and hopefully we'll be able to cover this. This is probably a 2 or 3 parter, so tune in next time. We'll go into more of this.
I don't know about next time, but
okay.
at some point,
yeah,
we'll get back on this. But
yeah, sounds good. Anyway, so just obligatory reminder: if you guys were interested, make sure I don't say this every time, but like, subscribe, all of that. Keep growing the channel, and
like and subscribe if you know where Sting buried the bodies.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.